over the decades showcases their adaptability, resilience, and the complexities of maintaining faith-based identities in an ever-changing world. Historical background, 1960s to present. The Amish and Mennonites trace their origins back to the Anabaptist movement of the 16th century during the Protestant Reformation. Both groups sought to return to a more authentic Christian faith, emphasizing adult baptism, community living, and a separation from the secular world. However, they diverged in their interpretations and applications of these principles. In the 1960s, both groups experienced a period of tension as modern society began to exert more influence. For the Amish, this meant grappling with increasingly legal challenges concerning their traditional ways of life. The 1970s and 1980s saw significant court cases involving schooling, transportation, and the right to maintain their lifestyles, culminating in landmark decisions that affirmed their rights to religious practices, albeit under certain regulations. Mennonites, meanwhile, began to see a shift towards greater engagement with the broader society, emphasizing social justice and service, which laid the groundwork for their active role in humanitarian efforts in the later decades. Cultural differences. Dress and appearance. The Amish are well known for their plain dress, which serves as a marker of their identity and commitment to humility. Men typically wear dark trousers, suspenders, and broad-brimmed hats, while women don long dresses and bonnets. In contrast, Mennonites have a more varied approach to dress, with some groups adopting contemporary clothing styles while still emphasizing modesty. In the 1960s, the Amish clothing remained steadfastly traditional, reflecting their rejection of modern fashion trends. However, by the 1920s and 2000s, some Amish communities began to show subtle changes, allowing for variations in color and style, particularly among younger generations seeking to balance tradition with personal expression. This reflects a broader trend of engagement with the outside world, where some young Amish may seek ways to express individuality while still adhering to community norms. Number 2, technology and modernity. One of the most significant distinctions between the two groups lies in their relationship with technology. The Amish generally eschew modern conveniences such as electricity and automobiles, adhering to a lifestyle that emphasizes simplicity and self-sufficiency. The 2000s saw some debates within Amish communities about the extent of technology acceptance, with variations based on community leadership. For example, while most Amish communities rejected phones in homes, some allowed the use of community phone booths. By contrast, Mennonites often utilize technology for education, work, and outreach, demonstrating a different understanding of how to balance faith with modern advancements. The rise of the internet in the late 1990s and early 2000s saw many Mennonite congregations embrace online platforms for communication, advocacy, and education, highlighting a commitment to engagement in the digital age. Social structures and community life. Number 1, church structure. The Amish church is typically more hierarchical, with a strong emphasis on community governance and decision-making. Bishops play a significant role in guiding community practices, while individual autonomy is often limited. This centralized structure can lead to a strong sense of unity, as the community works together under a common set of beliefs and practices. In contrast, Mennonite congregations are generally more decentralized and democratic, allowing for greater individual participation in the decision-making processes. This structure fosters a sense of responsibility among members, encouraging them to engage actively in shaping their community and its direction. Over the decades, Mennonite congregations increasingly embraced various leadership models, promoting lay leadership and collaborative decision-making as a reflection of their commitment to communal values. Number 2, education. In the 1960s, Amish education was characterized by a strong commitment to their own schools, where children typically attend until the 8th grade. These schools focus on practical skills and religious instruction, with minimal exposure to secular subjects. This educational approach aims to instill values aligned with Amish traditions, preparing children for a life dedicated to community and faith. The late 20th century brought legal scrutiny to Amish schooling, leading to important court cases that affirmed their rights. By the 2000s, discussions around education within Amish communities began to incorporate more awareness of the importance of vocational training and the need to adapt to a changing economy. In contrast, Mennonites often pursued higher education, encouraging academic achievement and viewing education as a means to equip individuals for service and leadership. Mennonite universities, such as Goshen College and Eastern Mennonite University, became prominent centers of learning, fostering a commitment to social justice and peace studies, reflecting their belief in education as a pathway to meaningful engagement in the world. Mennonite populations over the decades. Social issues and challenges. Both communities faced unique challenges in the 2000s, including issues related to land use, legal disputes, and cultural assimilation. Number 1. Legal conflicts. The Amish often found themselves in legal battles over the right to maintain their lifestyle. Issues such as zoning laws, horse and buggy regulations, and school attendance were frequently contested. For instance, the landmark 1972 Supreme Court case, Wisconsin v. Yoder, affirmed the Amish right to educate their children in their own schools, setting a precedent for religious education. These legal challenges often reflect a broader struggle between preserving traditional ways of life and the encroachment of modern regulations. Mennonites, while also navigating legal matters, actively engaged in social justice issues, advocating for peace, reconciliation, and community service. The 2000s saw a growing awareness among Mennonites of global issues, such as poverty and environmental sustainability, leading to active participation in humanitarian efforts and advocacy work, including responses to natural disasters and global health crises. Cultural contributions. Despite their differences, both the Amish and Mennonites have made significant cultural contributions in areas like agriculture, craftsmanship, and community service. Number 1. Agriculture. Amish farmers are renowned for their organic farming practices and sustainable methods. Their commitment to preserving traditional farming techniques gained increased recognition in the 2000s, particularly as consumers sought out local, organic produce. The popularity of farm-to-table movements and organic products brought attention to Amish agricultural practices, emphasizing the value of sustainable farming. In the late 20th century, as individual farming became more prevalent, Amish communities remained committed to small-scale farming, which in turn helped preserve local ecosystems and biodiversity. Mennonite farmers also embraced sustainable practices, often integrating technology to optimize yield while maintaining environmental stewardship. Many Mennonites became involved in community-supported agriculture, CSA, initiatives and sustainable farming movements, advocating for practices that protect the environment while feeding local communities. Number 2. Arts and crafts. The Amish are well known for their craftsmanship, particularly in woodworking, quilt making, and pottery. Their handcrafted goods often fetch high prices due to their quality and authenticity. The 2000s saw a rise in interest in Amish crafts, with many artisans gaining national recognition. This appreciation for handcrafted items has led to a market for Amish goods beyond local boundaries, fostering an interest in the stories and traditions behind these crafts. The late 20th century also saw an increase in Amish artisans participating in craft fairs and markets, showcasing their work and educating the public about their traditions. Mennonites, on the other hand, engage in artistic pursuits that emphasize music and literature. Mennonite hymns and choral music gained popularity, leading to the establishment of various music festivals celebrating Mennonite composers and traditions. Additionally, many authors from the community have contributed to American literature, exploring themes of faith, community, and identity, thereby enriching the cultural landscape of their regions. Interfaith relations. The 2000s marked a period of increased interfaith dialogue. with both the Amish and Mennonites engaging with other religious communities. Number 1. Amish engagement. While the Amish traditionally maintain a cautious distance from other groups, some communities began to engage in dialogue with nearby congregations, seeking common ground and shared values of faith and community. This willingness to engage is often limited to discussions around social issues or community events rather than theological debates, reflecting their desire to maintain their cultural identity while still being a part of the broader community. The late 20th century also saw some Amish groups participating in peace initiatives, driven by their commitment to nonviolence and community well-being. As tensions rose in global conflicts, Amish leaders began to advocate for peace-building efforts, emphasizing their historical commitment to nonviolence. Number 2. Mennonite outreach. Mennonites have historically been more open to interfaith cooperation, engaging in outreach programs that promote understanding and reconciliation among various communities. The 2000s witnessed a significant increase in Mennonite participation in humanitarian efforts, often collaborating with organizations across faith lines to address social issues. The Mennonite Central Committee, or the MCC, became increasingly active in international relief efforts, reflecting a commitment to service and peace building. The engagement with other faith communities allowed Mennonites to leverage their resources and expertise in addressing pressing global challenges, from disaster relief to refugee support, embodying their core values of service and compassion. The Amish and Mennonites, while sharing a common Anabaptist heritage, exhibit distinct identities and approaches to modernity that have evolved since the 1960s. Their experiences reflect the broader tensions and negotiations between tradition and modernity, individual and community, faith and engagement in the world. Through their historical development, cultural contributions, and social dynamics, both communities offer valuable insights into how faith can inform lifestyle choices and community values in a rapidly changing world. As they continue to navigate the complexities of contemporary society, the stories of the Amish and Mennonites serve as poignant reminders of the importance of faith, community, and resilience.